And we are live. Welcome to another episode of On the King's Dime. That's a low-key intro.
It's a bit low key.
Yeah,
First loss of the season.
we have
Bit
lost our
salty.
first game of the season. It
Salty.
hurts.
It's very sad. It's not only salt. It's just because it's just terrible, terrible
That's
way to lose a game.
that's all right. We are still 6-1. We'll ramp it back up because we are going to discuss the Adelaide game first, which happened on Saturday night, and then we'll get into the Melbourne game. Obviously, after that, we'll bring it back a little bit more upbeat. As always, you can like, share, and subscribe all the way across the bottom on our Facebook, doing some tweeting as well. And we're on YouTube, Podcast Addict, and iTunes. And we also have a Patreon if you want to throw us some dollars just to help our hosting and stuff like that. We're trying to get that off the ground, get a little bit of crowdfunding going. So we do appreciate the eyes and ears. And if you want to throw us a few dollars to help us on our way, that'd be great. Yeah, round five ended in a little bit of bitterness, but let's go back to that Adelaide game where we ended up beating the Adelaide 36ers in our first of this away trip for this round. I'm just getting up the box score now. Andy, what do you think of that about that game the other night?
It was a good game. I think I said Randall was back in fine form.
Hmm.
But it was a good all-round team effort from the starting five. Bench was a little bit lacking in scoring. Um, but, great games from Zada, Tate, and Bogut. Bogut had a massive game. I thought that he'd be troubled more by Harry Froling and DJ, but Harry Frolling's just turned to trash. Like, I thought he was good. It's horrible.
Yeah, I sent you
Stoning.
that text. Can we renege on our Harry Froling hype? One thing I really noticed actually is his footwork is not that great, and he's
No.
quite quite heavy footed. Like it's funny. Okay, we're making fun of his like Rashi, like wearing the Rashi out on the court, and that's funny, like the fat man Rashi. But legitimately, like before he went over to play in the US, like we were quite high on him, like doing our NBA coverage. We're like, yeah, Froling could make it in this league. But after like watching him in the first few games this season, like his footwork's not great, and he gets kind of like just stuck in these positions where like he doesn't have like just normal NBA defense. He's kind of stuck in these weird positions of flailing and doing this sort of weird stuff, which was allowing Bogut and some of our other guards to get in on him and sort of score over the top of him. I can't think of who. I think it was Tate just went straight into basically like his lower hip area where like a normal defender will kind of stand up, stay over the top, and maybe get hit in the chest. Like he kind of got hit low in the hips and went down. And I was like, oh, it's bad defense under the hoop. But the team itself played pretty well on Saturday night. The away trip had a few days rest after that Brisbane game. There was a lot of kind of garbage time in that game, which allowed our guys to be quite fresh for the Adelaide game. Started off quite well. We looked pretty good. You're right, Randall. I thought played pretty well.
Yeah, I think he played very well. Just came around a lot of screens, played a lot of West style ball,
Mm.
shooting around a lot of screens, getting into the mid range. Um, a lot of one-on-one ISO. Still not a great passer. He just
Mm.
seems to be that he's kind of that ISO ball specialist that wears at least a little bit more of a court vision kind of player. But yeah, played quite well. I mean, took it to the death. But it was only some Jason Tate heroics that got us there.
Yeah, I still don't miss those just drives in and shoots a 18-foot jumper where you're
Yeah,
just like, ugh, do we need it? Or like the push floater from like 12 feet. Just like, oh, I'm glad that's not my team anymore. Because I much prefer, like, he gets to the hoop, and look, a lot of last year we spent just going, how does he not get fouls? I don't understand how he doesn't get fouls. So obviously goes to that floater and that push shot basically because he just gets nothing at the hoop. And against Bogut as well, like we got that really clutch block right at the end. Basically, Bogut obviously defensively, I think how many blocks did he have in the end of that game? He had 2 blocks, and one of them was that huge one near the end, basically that kind of sealed their last trip down the floor. But I think teams are becoming self-aware, man. Like teams are just like, all right, we just won't just drive straight at Bogut this year.
that's it. I think that he's not really having to defend. They're trying to pull him a lot further out to the 3 point line, and then ISO match up with a big. And you see that a lot in the Melbourne game, but they've also tried to do that in the Adelaide game. Is bring him out of the paint and uh, match up with jae'sean Tate at that 4 position because he's a bit smaller and try and score him in that way. But Bogut's blinding. It's just like, all right, just shoot the three ball. And it seems to be that they're getting a lot of easy shots from three because of that Bogut mismatch at the five. And if the Saints can stretch the floor a bit, then we're giving up easy points um, because we're playing this very center heavy style play of just him just camping in the paint, looking for the block and looking to change the trajectory of the shot instead of getting out there and defending the perimeters. The perimeter defense is just non-existent.
So it started off at the start of the season. It felt as though this team was like the horizontal spacing was there to close a lot of guys getting to the hoop, and it made like the team a lot stronger defensively. But as the season's starting to go along, I've noticed a lot of guys are shooting just kind of foul line jumpers now. Like they know Bogut's camped in the paint. He's not going to take two steps up and contest their shot. So like we saw it in Sobey do it against Brisbane. Hampton and Webster kind of did it against New Zealand, and then Adelaide, Jerome Randall just loves shooting those foul line floaters and jumpers. DJ didn't play that well this game either. Like he started really poorly. He couldn't get anything going. Then at the end was hitting threes, and you're just like, oh, okay, DJ's just hitting some threes at the end. That's cool, I guess. But I felt like good big combos are gonna hurt us this season. We've already played enough teams where you're like, yeah, okay, maybe not. Maybe we can get by the teams with good big combinations. Like Perth's really the only team we haven't played, and Southeast Melbourne, who don't necessarily have the best big combinations. You saw against Adelaide, DJ didn't play that well, and it was like a big reason why they didn't play well either, I felt like.
He's a big part of their team. If he's really not on, then it's kind of just not on. And, lucky to obviously get it to overtime from their perspective and take the Kings right to the end of the matchup. But, I think with those kind of games, it's going to Casper Ware all the time. That's hurting us a little bit. For the ISO ball, I think that we're a lot smarter than that. And you see that a lot in the Melbourne game where obviously we'll talk about the hilarity of Will Weaver's ejection. Like, half-time just came out of nowhere. Really.
What about his sweater and pants combination in the Adelaide game?
he was going to do everyone's tax after the game as well.
H&R block Will Weaver, get him down low on the H&R block. But this Adelaide team, man, like they were a weird kind of going into this game. A weird kind of this could be a tough game, like a kind of trap game for us. DJ Froling and Griffin, probably three of the, combining to be a decent bigs combo. Griffin, I think, with the blocks, most blocks in the league already this season. DJ can shoot the three ball. And then Froling off the bench would, like in the games last year, would give them a spark. And that was something that we couldn't combat. Whereas this season, we've got so much length. Like Didi's got length. Lucas Walker played 3 minutes, hilarious, just 4 fouls. And 3 of just the worst calls I think I've seen. One where a dude just went straight over his back and fell on the floor, and they gave it a foul on Lucas Walker, who grabbed the rebound. And it's just like, oh, man. What did you think about the refereeing in this game, actually, before we get to the epic salt?
Terrible, man. They're so bad. I don't understand. Like, are we watching? Like, I will call terrible refereeing where I see terrible refereeing for any team. It's just bad calls. Like, they're so quick to give a unsportsmanlike foul, but have they ever read the rule for a charge?
Yeah, man.
You have to have your feet planted. You cannot be moving. Every time they're moving.
Seems like dude's just flying out of control. And then that's definitely a foul. He was flying out of control. It's like, yeah, but you're supposed to have your feet set, be standing there, have your body set, and take the charge. You can't just be like backing in on a guy and then just fall over. And charge, definitely offensive foul.
If you're moving laterally, unless he shoulders you or pushes off with the forearm, you can't be taking a charge. You can't be because you're moving laterally. Probably the only one in Sydney Kings that's ever taken like real charges is Moller, because he gets his feet set very late in the rotation, right under the rim, and guys try to go through him, and that's about it. But some of these wear fouls on the perimeter and even jae'sean Tate fouls, going both ways, are just terrible calls. Yet, you flick someone's hand on the way through, going up the lane, and it's an unsportsmanlike foul. You're just like, this is retarded. This is a retarded rule.
I think the rule itself is being applied properly. It's just not a great rule, man. The
The
unsportsmanlike
rule
foul is not a
itself
great
is
foul.
being applied properly, but the charge rule is not.
No.
So where do we stand? Where do we stand with in this hilarity of ridiculous refereeing? It's just like we're gonna take this rule to the nth degree, but we're just gonna shit all over this rule.
Yeah. It's I got a bit to say about the charge rule from the Melbourne game, so I'll save it for then. Craig Moller continues to struggle from 3, 0 of 6 in this game. Didn't take any threes. Obviously looked in this game just be like, I'm not shooting threes, guys. I'm clearly just missing all of them. I think in the last game, in the Adelaide game, it felt a little bit like, you guys really want me to shoot this three? Okay, I'll shoot it. And then rather than just be like, you know what, I'm just going to shoot my way out of this. Give me the ball, shoot it. Give me the ball, shoot it. Give me the ball, shoot it. He looks like he's just like, oh, I know I'm shooting these poorly, but I'm going to just try and put it up anyway. Needs to get his legs under him a little bit. I think he's 1 of 15 this season on 3. So he was going into this game against Adelaide. He was 2 of 18 from 3. 0 of 6, so he's 2 of 24, and then didn't take any tonight, so he's 0 of 24. 2 of 24 from 3 this season, so it's not good. He was shooting quite well in the preseason, and it was something that you'd thought that's his game. Like if he can knock down that 3, he can stay on the court on offense. It's mainly been his defense that has basically kept him in these games. 7 rebounds, 2 offensive boards in this game, 2 assists, not too bad, and 2 steals. So it's mainly he's been the main defensive 3 that we've been playing off the bench. Good 6th man. I thought he played quite well apart from that shooting the 3 ball.
Agreed. Yeah. He's just a spark. He's a spark defensively and gets in the way a lot, and is another decent sized body on the glass, both offensive and defensive. So it's not just Bogut rebounding. You need another big, because Tate is strong but not tall, and if you get some bouncier power forwards, then you're going to struggle grabbing those defensive rebounds. So it's good that Moller's kind of in there. And actually, Newley's been rebounding quite well this year as well. Definitely getting more of that aggressive style of rebounding back into his game.
So going into this game, Newley had 28 rebounds. Bogut 70, Tate 41. Craig Moller 32, so Moller's been an important rebounder off the bench, and Diddy with 19. This game, obviously, in terms of rebounding, belonged to that massive jae'sean Tate rebound at the end. Yes. Shout out to him for not even going up, yet getting 2 guys off their feet. In a game we were down 3 as well. Like, why are you going up? Like, we're down 3. Why would he even put that back? That would have been a bad shot for him to take that shot. Basically, everyone collapses on Casper where he knocks down that 3. I had tweeted out prior to that 3 that he hit. Like, I wasn't sure if I really trust him in crunch time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just with some of the shots he's been taking this year, he hasn't really been shooting the 3 ball that well. It's not like we haven't seen any of that down screen action at all for him. Like, Bogut just doesn't set that down screen, and I don't like. It must be, you wouldn't say Will Weaver isn't coaching to a degree where you miss that. Oh man, Will Weaver, you really need to go to that. Like, he's a good enough coach for you not to say that that's a scheme of coaching. Like, you must just say, no, you've got to try and create your own shot. I think that's kind of affected him this season because he's not shot the 3 ball that well.
He hasn't, except obviously the second game in Melbourne tonight, a bit better shooting from 3. He hasn't been scoring well at all this season. Maybe he's just going through a bit of a slump, but his effectiveness is being waned, because I think a lot of the guys have cottoned on to the fact that he needs to come around a screen, and so they will fight harder, and it seems like Bogut's having to hold up the play, whereas last year, Booner just set a screen and he just comes straight round Boone and shoot. It was much higher, whereas Bogut will grab the ball inside the 3-point line, and that gives the defender too much room to get in between them and stop the 3 shot. Boone was much better at getting out of the 3-point line and setting a much higher screen, down screen, to get Casper that shot. So I don't know if that's a strategy or if Will Weaver's not really for that, but he scored so many points like that last year, and Bogut's one of the best screen setters in the league. So I don't know why they haven't gone to that in big plays.
But Bogut's lost a step, man, and I don't think he can get out and set them high enough. Really, in the flow of the offense, I don't think he can get out high enough to set those screens. Like it just doesn't work. Like, and he's an initiator too, so a lot of the time you're seeing guys toss him the ball, and then he's always pushing to get to the elbow. Yet you're like, no, get out and set one up near the center circle. Like, you know what I mean? Like his game is to basically get to the as close to the elbow as he can to initiate some offense. So it's a little technical thing there. I'd like to see Tate come out and set those screens because he can set a pretty beefy screen.
Pretty mean screen.
But he's, again, the guy that gets in and crashes the glass. And he's always, I've noticed he doesn't camp in the corner as much. It's been basically Brad Newley camping in the corner a lot this season, which
it's been effective, though.
He has shot the 3-ball from the corner quite well.
Yes. No better than tonight in Melbourne, I think. It's been one of his best games of the season in terms of just getting into the right place at the right time. But that Adelaide game, down to the wire, it was good to see them pull out a win on an away trip. Obviously, 6-0 start to the season.
I think we would have lost that game last season, to be honest.
Yes.
A game like that. And Bogut having that huge dunk out of overtime kind of sparked everyone, and everyone kind of went to life, basically. And then we let Casper Ware take over. Still wasn't it wasn't wow. We blew them away. And what did you think about this Melbourne game that we're about to speak about? Knowing that we went to overtime in that Adelaide game, I was just like, oh man, we burned a lot of energy in that game.
Burned a lot of energy, and we tried to play our bench for a lot of minutes this game, and I think that let Melbourne come back a bit. I think Lucas Walker's probably played a little bit more minutes than he should have. Lazada getting injured the first half is just a massive blow for the defense. Obviously, he's grabbing his hip flexor. I don't know if that's just going to be a little tweak, but if you don't return, typically you can't play through it, then that is not a good sign. But that's a bit of length defensively that we're missing. I think Sean Bruce had a standout game. I think Brad Newley had a standout game. Obviously, Casper Ware dropping a hell of a lot of points. I think Bogut got monstered this game by long. It was kind of bad to watch, man. It was.
I wouldn't necessarily say he got monstered. I think strategically, right?
I don't mean offensively, by the way. I mean defensively. A lot of second chance points built out of long tipping it or getting in. But there wasn't a lot of boxing out. There wasn't a lot of Bogut strength. It was just kind of him being meek and trying to grab balls.
But I think a lot of it is strategic now, really too, because you've got jae'sean Tate in there boxing guys out, and I don't necessarily think he got monstered. The whole point was basically to make Sean Long shoot jumpers, and I was saying that through the stream. Yes, keep shooting jumpers. That's exactly what we want you to do. But then that kind of opens the floor up to the down screen. We'll go on to the Melbourne game now. The down screen just killed us again. They just keep bringing the guys up high, and Bogut doesn't step out enough, and Goulding shoots three. He shot 2 threes in a row, basically. And if they don't do, if Melo Trimble comes and sets, they set a down screen for Melo Trimble, and that doesn't work, if someone steps up, they just bring it back out, rescreen, and then it's Goulding off the same play, basically. We didn't seem to clean that up, and it was essentially after Will Weaver, that was in crunch time when Will Weaver wasn't there to sort of clean it all up. But it was this game, I don't know, eventually, after the Adelaide game went to overtime, I was like, man, we're going to run out of juice again. It's going to be that same issue, with Lazada getting injured. That's a real worry, because straight away he pointed to his hip, and straight away, I noticed he went straight to Will Weaver and basically was like, that's it, pull me, basically. We didn't see him again for the rest of the night. That's always a worrying sign. And the other thing too is can't communicate, can barely speak English, so it's you don't get a sense of how injured he really is or what's happening. Could be lost in translation there, but to see him not come back out was a bit of a worry, man, to be honest.
It's a bit of a worry because we're missing Kevin Leach for so long. This is a worry, and it kind of was a real worry in crunch time, because I can understand why he is an assistant coach and not got his own NBL team, because it was some bad final minutes. Last 4 minutes of that game was just terrible. It was relying too much on the foul. Those NBL refs are not going to call it in crunch time. You hear him in the huddle, you're going to get the shot you want. It's no, man, they're just going to take Melo Trimble off and put Shea Ely on you, who's got no foul trouble, and he's going to guard.
Shea Ely was in foul trouble, was he? I think in the
3.
end he was in foul trouble, somewhat of
Yeah,
foul
I
trouble.
think he was, but he wasn't. Melo Trimble had 4. With 4 minutes to go, Melo Trimble had 4 fouls. They yanked him and put Shea on, who had 3.
Oh,
So it
yeah,
didn't
sorry.
really
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah,
make much difference. But it's he could be a little bit more aggressive and not, he's not a massive offensive boost. So it was just the whole time Brad Newley's camped in the corner hitting threes at a high clip. And Melo's where's, bringing 2 guys out on the perimeter, 2 passes and gets Newley in the corner. And it's a much higher rate of offense than just putting up stupid baseline jumpers and trying to get to the hoop.
yeah.
You know, okay, yep, there's a kick out and you shoot the 3 ball, or you come around a down screen and shoot the 3 ball. But I don't think we had any other offense in the last 4 minutes than Casper Ware.
Yeah, and look, he had a great night, 34 points. So he was rolling, and you're going to go to that offense. Like one big sort of issue was there was no Bogut offense really that we could go to because that was kind of nullified with all the spacing in the lane. Sean Bruce off the bench, man, 8 dimes, fantastic night for him. 14 points, 5 of 7. Just I think stayed out on the floor a little bit too long. There's a few of those late game situations where Craig Moller should be in the game instead of Sean Bruce. Like I love Sean Bruce off the bench, but if Casper Ware's initiating offense and playing ISO ball, then what's the point of having Sean Bruce on the court?
What's the point of having Sean Bruce in the court? Why would you not have Newley, Tate, Moller, and Bogut and just have them in the paint attacking the ball? And you've got Bruce just standing there, but you're not dialing up any offense for Bruce or getting Ware to come in and kick it out to Bruce for a shot. It literally was that last shot of the game before Bogut grabbed Barlow.
Yeah, that
crap.
wasn't a good shot. That was him just kind of
terrible. Getting to the baseline and just, I think we had about 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Surely we could have passed the ball to someone who had a better shot. You know what I mean?
But he was in a bad spot anyway. Like he would have had to have pulled up, reinitiated, got some movement off the ball. Like he looked like he tried to drive in and draw a foul off Melo Trimble, really.
Yeah.
And then settle for a jumper.
Yeah, but that's the whole problem with that offense is that it was all about trying to draw the foul and not trying to draw the best play up to get the clean shot. And we don't have a lot of good off-ball catch and shoot style players. Maybe he thought Sean Bruce was that, but there was not a lot of off-ball movement. It was just kind of set, get out of Ware's way, and then just hope for the best.
Yeah, which we haven't seen that at all this season, really, have we? Have we seen just Casper Ware take over a game? No.
I don't think that's Will Weaver. I think that's just some really shit assistant coaching.
Well, we can't expect, a brilliant assistant coach performance. Or, if it happens, you go, oh wow, this is what a great organization this is. He's come off the bench from the assistant's chair and dialed up something and won a game. That was always going to be a worry down the stretch of this game was the coaching. I think that he kind of left Sean Bruce out there too long. What did you think of Deshaun Taylor for his first night out for the Kings?
Very rusty.
Yeah, man. A couple of really bad turnovers, just losing the ball. 15 minutes is probably a little bit too long. I think probably could have played him for 6 or 7 and had Moller play 24, 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was a weird night of lineups. I don't know if that's because we were coming off a game Saturday night, but there was some weird lineups that stayed out way too long. Like I wouldn't put Walker and Kickett in the same lineup. I kind of put Walker and Bogut in the same lineup. Bogut, Kickett and Moller in this, just 2 old slow guys. Like, what's that? Just bad lineups the whole night. And I just didn't get it.
Yeah, maybe that Diddy injury kind of threw it out. But Lucas Walker came off the bench, first man off the bench. Like, it was strange to see him come in with Sean Bruce. Kickett, to be honest, played pretty well. 13 points, 5 of 7.
He played really well, but I wouldn't play Kickett and Walker in the same lineup because they're both too slow. You got to hide either one of them. So you play Walker with Bogut, Kickett with Moller. At least you're getting a bit of bounce out of one of the 2 bigs. But that was a strange. And they played Kickett and Walker for like 4 minutes. It was just like, no, this is not a good lineup. You need to go to someone who's a bit quicker.
Stayed out there a little bit too long. Kickett, I got a stat that'll blow your mind. Kickett 2 blocks.
He played really well, man.
He played well. He kind of like a couple of those baskets that Sean Long scored on him. like used his body really well, but then Sean Long was just like, oh yeah, I'm just like a lot bigger than you. I'll just lay that in, thanks. And
Yeah.
just like, ah. And one of them was he played really, really good defense. The ball just bobbled out. Everyone kind of turned their head, and Sean Long was just like, oh, I'm grabbing it here and just going straight up. And it was like, ah. So it wasn't like he was just getting roasted. Like last year, there was times like stretches where Kickett was on the court, and he was just like, get him off. Like, he can't be out there. So
I
it
see.
was a lot
I
better
would,
seeing it.
and down the final stretch, if you're going like, I don't, why is Jordan Hunter not in? Just to grab glass boards, man. He's big. He's 6'11". Like I didn't understand the logic. If you're just playing where ISO, you get four guys out there that are 6'10" and above to just monster the other team on the glass. And we ran a really strange lineup. So I think we've got a lot of soul searching to get back and look at the film and look at how some last minute tweaking could have perhaps benefited us on the
Man,
final play.
we really got to dig deep into the soul. We're 6-1, man. We're
We
gonna have
should
to
have been, we
search.
shouldn't have lost. We've got to search deep in this, because these are the problems though. Is that as the season goes on, Melbourne will get better, Perth will get better,
for sure.
and if Adelaide's taking it overtime, 7 games in, we may have peaked a little bit earlier. You've got injuries to DD, injuries to Lish. We could be on an 8-week stretch here where we have to go to the right lineups to get the wins because we're not blowing teams out as well. And I just don't think some of the lineups work tonight.
Nah, so double game week coming up again. So Friday we're back on the court again against in Brisbane. So it's a pretty deathly sort of, let's get up to Brisbane and play against Brisbane. And then on Sunday afternoon at Kudos, we're back against Perth. So pretty deadly little stretch here, man.
Yeah, a couple of, two game weekends with the lack of depth in terms of playable depth. I think there's some great bench pieces. Would love to see Quiney in a couple of these games over the weekend. A younger guy playing some, maybe with DD being down, we might see some Quiney. But
yeah, maybe that's gonna attribute to the lineups, I guess. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it will attribute to the lineups, but Taylor, I just not sold at all.
Nah, I think he'll be good if he sheds the rust. But again, I see that as like, man, why don't you just give those minutes to Kwani or, and Sean Bruce is stepping up, but just a little bit like, man, why didn't we get like a power forward, like someone else to grab boards, or, if you're not going to use Hunter, like, but get someone who can kind of take a little bit of the pressure off Craig Moll and grab some boards. I don't know. Like, I think he'll be a decent acquisition. Like, he played some pretty solid defense. So yes. I'm not sitting here going, well, it's like LaMelo Ball just plays no defense. He's real flashy. Like, this is good, but he played some, like, he got a block on Trimble tonight where he just like whacked Trimble right in the face. That
was hilarious, and that wasn't caught, and that was quite clearly a foul.
And the guy, the lead official was like right there too. Like, it wasn't as though, it was in the corner where two guys couldn't see it, and he kind of hit him it was egregious. Like, the guy was right there, and you probably would have heard that too. Like, you probably could have heard it. Just go whack. Let's talk about the refs just really quickly. I want to start with, like, why are we ending a game like that? Like, just calling unsportsmanlike fouls, going to the board, like, to the replay. Can we not do this? Like, it's not even a, like, whinging about what happened. Oh, I'm so salty about this game. It's just like, can we not do this? Like,
it's for my mind, it's going to the, or 0.2 seconds left on the clock, first half. Oh, just stop the game. We have to now.
What was with that? Oh my god, I could not believe that. I'm like, dude, just blow the game dead. Just blow it dead. No, we're going to the monitors, boys. Let's have a talk about that. I'm just blow it dead, man. Are you serious? To put 0.2 back on the clock for, like, they just inbound it and then, you didn't even get the shot off, mate. It's like, what was the point? Yeah.
These refs take them. They're very serious.
Just brutal.
Almost. They just have smug faces that you just want to slap. I don't condone violence, but they've got smug faces that are slappable.
How much is Will Weaver my spirit animal though for that blow up?
Wow, the dude has been quiet, calm, and collective all year, and then just all of a sudden wanted to, like, claw the ref to death. And it was hilarious.
You could tell the team didn't really know what to do. Like if I was saying on the stream, like if you had a coach like Thibodeau or like Doc Rivers when he blows up, like guys get out there and are like tanking them off the court, like get off the court, like shut up. Like you could tell Brad Newell was just like, oh geez, I've never seen this guy blow up, like like barely even pushing him away. Like I'd be grabbing him and just being like, get off the court, like what are you doing, you maniac? Like why are you blowing up about this? But it was still good to see him.
I don't know. This could be Will Weaver. This is a bit of a conspiracy theory here, but Will Weaver is such a deep thinker. Did he do it to see what the situation could put the Kings under, to see if they could get the win?
4D chess.
4D chess to
Will
see
Weaver's playing 4D chess. Everyone else is playing checkers.
don't. Yeah, could this? He's such a deep thinker, man. It is so out of character. I'm going to put a conspiracy theory out there and say that this was an act to see if Sydney could win in the second half without him being there.
So is he banned from the post-match press conference as well after that as well?
I don't know. I think we'll find out soon.
It'll be interesting because they'll want to ask him what happened. Like I didn't think that was, there was plenty to blow up about in that game, but I didn't think that was like worthy of.
No, but this is what I mean. Like he won. He's pretty calm all the time, and it just seemed to be like at a random moment in the game that didn't really make sense or matter. We were winning. It's like 8 points up half time. Could have been a foul, but 50-50, and just blowing up, and then we're 6-0. It's kind of like if you're 6-0 and you're going to a game 7 and you're up at half time, there's absolutely nothing to blow up about. If your season's on the line, then maybe you fucking go nuts. But 4D chess, I'm saying that he did this on purpose to see if we could win.
Interesting.
And,
Interesting.
Just throwing it out there. Maybe he didn't have or had some faith in his assistant coaches that will be, re-evaluated after this terrible last 4 minutes of this game.
So low-key, did it kind of cost the team the game maybe?
I think so. I really do. I think that the second half lineups were terrible. I think that the last 4 minutes was just... It's kind of what Andrew Gaze would have done with Jerome Randall last year. That didn't work last year. So why are we doing it this year? Even though it's Casper Ware, it's just the same ISO ball for 4 minutes when really we have a team of talented individuals, probably the best team put on paper in the league, and we couldn't dial up some back cut for Newley or get Bogut in the low block with a dish off to jae'sean Tate, who's bouncy, you can dunk the ball. Like, yeah, draw lots of plays out of the comfort zone or draw them out of the paint with Ware dribbling and kicking. Like, I don't understand why it was just putting up terrible shots for 4 minutes.
It's tough down the stretch of that game because I thought like we played pretty solid. Like the game started, we absorbed their first punch and we gave it back to them. And I said, we did that a few times last year where we took their first punch and we're like, yeah, we took your punch, like eat that. And they kind of were like, oh, what do we do, guys? And then we kind of coughed it up down the stretch of a few of those games last year. And it was just like, oh, and then the McCarron tip in and stuff like that. It was like, This game felt like we had it all sort of sorted until that second half where Will Weaver got ejected. And again, that down screen, man, like there's got to be a solution where either one of our guys steps across, like one of the wings step across and either contests, or Bogut's got to step up and contest, because even when they were sort of bringing him out, it was like you bring him out to get him out of the paint and then you kind of run action to get back into the paint because he's too slow to get back. Melbourne didn't really have a chance to do that. I felt like our other guys were defending it well, so it was maybe a little bit of bad coaching not to just say, Bogut, stay high, make sure you take away that 3-point and like make him get to the hoop, which is a bit disappointing. But yeah, they're just the refs, man. Like, I just didn't like the way that game ended. Like if that game had have just ended like Barlow went up the court, they initiated, they scored, and then this happened, they scored. This, like, why are we ending the game with 8 free throws, man? Like a game that was really kind of badly called both ways. Like both teams had stretches where you're just like, wow, you're calling everything, and you're calling absolutely nothing. Like the jae'sean charge where he like that's I tweeted, that's bad defense, man. Like it's bad defense to just like fly across in front of someone, fall over, and make it look like a foul. And then Craig Moller goes in, and McCarron's not even like, no, it was Ware on Trimble. This exact same play, like identical, but except Trimble's coming like more of an angle. goes down. Like, clearly just trips over, like, the defender because he's not set. They're just like, charge. Yep, definitely charge, mate. I'm just like, it's exactly the same play. Like,
The weird one was down the stretch where Ware took the charge against Trimble. But this time he actually had his feet set. Like, if you see it, he wasn't. And then he got called for flopping.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what is going on?
Yeah, and they're like, get up, mate. Get up. I'm just like, that was just like,
This is the only one that looked semi like taking a charge. Like, and yet you're calling all these lateral moving. Oh,
I just want to go back to just no charge calls at all.
no
You
charge
get
calls.
nothing,
No,
nothing.
you just
sir.
play hard. Unless, like I've said, even in the NBA, unless you're inside the key and you're the last defender between the bucket and they're going to the bucket and you have your feet planted. That's
And
it. They can't.
It's got to be like 1 or 2 steps before they get to you that you have to have your feet planted.
Yeah.
Because I'm sick of those ones where 2 guys are like scrambling for the spot. One guy kind of almost gets there, and then instead of like taking a hit, which will just be a blocking foul if it's a legitimate hit, they kind of just flail and throw themselves sideways.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's a foul, and it's like, stop that, man. Get rid of it. Like, refs should just be like, no, you're not getting that. Sorry.
It's been in the last season and a half in basketball that this has just kind of come about. Like 3 years ago, no one did this. It's kind of like you took
Teams
it.
are getting better. You know, like a few veteran guys would do it, but they were good. Like Bogut's actually quite good at getting there, getting set, and just getting axed because guys know that he's there, and they're like, you know what I want to do? I want to hit this guy in the chest and then dunk all over him. So he cops it, like he takes it and bang. Like, okay, that's a legit charge. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. You can't just throw your shoulder into someone because you want to bump him out of the way. And even like the game-winning bucket that Casper scored, like he went shoulder down straight into whatever his name, Deshaun. No, I can't remember who his name was for Adelaide. Like he actually went straight head down, bang, and like bumped him out of the way, and then still put the ball in. And I'm like, yeah, but in most games, like they're giving these offensive fouls. Like why are we not giving that an offensive foul here? Like, I just want to see him get it consistent. If you just sort of go, none of those are fouls. The end.
Yeah.
Good day, sir. Like then people stop doing it, and then we stop getting these. Just why are we turning the ball over for just a crappy foul like this? That's my gripe anyway. It just, I'm not even that upset that Melbourne won this. I'm like, good, you have this, Melbourne. Have this game 3-5 Melbourne, you scummy peasants. Like, have it. Like,
all right, let's get on to 3-2-1.
Yeah, 3-2-1. It was going through my head. I'm going, there's something I'm missing here. Like, I'm just talking, I'm rambling. There's something here. Right, 3-2-1. Adelaide first. This was a tough one, man. Tough one.
3 Tate, 2 Bogut, 1 Ware. Because he's the game winner.
That's what I had. I was thinking about it again last night, and I wanted to say maybe Lazada for 1, but Tate you can't. But Ware you can't say nothing for Ware in that game.
Yeah,
Ware deserves something at least. I'm just writing you in, and I'm just writing myself in. I haven't picked yet. What do you got
for tonight's game?
Yeah, tonight's game. Tough, man. It's tough.
It's tough
Casper,
because
it's got to be Casper for 3.
Yeah, but 34 points with no win and just ISO for 4 minutes and bad shot taking. Like, anyone could score 34 points if they're just shooting 200 shots all night.
No one else really did anything though.
Yeah, okay, I guess Ware 3. I'm not going to give Bogut anything tonight. Actually,
I think it's got to be
Ware 3, 2 to Bruce, 1 to
Kicker.
Kicker.
Got to get 2, if not 3.
I think Kicker played. I think Kicker played really well as well. So I'll give 1 to Kicker. It's hard as well because Newley played well.
Yeah. Only 9 points though. 3 of 6 from 3. He's just not getting to the hoop at all.
No,
not even trying at all, and that's just weird to me. He's only 5 of 9. I don't know, 16 of 24. Really delicious numbers. Man, he just doesn't get to the hoop now, and you're like, Brad, get to the hoop, bro. But then he's hitting those corner 3s, so it's can't be all bad. So I was going to go Ware, Bruce, kicks.
Yeah, that's mine as well.
All right, round 6, a double round again. I haven't even put the teams in. Yes, have I? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Yes, I have. It's Kings, Perth at the Kings,
Sunday. Yep.
I'm going to read them off the NBL page because I think I might have stuffed the spreadsheet up a little bit. All right, New Zealand Melbourne at Spark Arena.
New Zealand, I'm going to go Melbourne. I think Melbourne are starting to come good.
Melbourne. Sneak the Breakers. This this tipping caper, I'm clearly just sitting stone bottom. I think I'm gonna just go the other way on that. Bullets at home against the Kings. Kings.
Yeah, Kings. Lazada injury scares me.
Are you ever gonna tip against the Kings?
If this would be the game, I'd tip against the
Are
Kings.
you gonna do it?
Yeah, I'm going to go the Bullets.
Bullets. Ooh.
I don't want it to, but I just think that
Tough
No,
little stretch here, short turnaround. Yeah, it's noble.
Yes.
A noble pick. We got Southeast Melbourne at home to the Breakers.
I'm going to go Breakers on that one.
Breakers.
I think Southeast Melbourne had their time in the sun. That's it.
Wow, we're off the Phoenix train.
Yes.
No, I'm still on the Phoenix train. I think they're quality. Dane Pinot just absolutely lighting it up inside. We got the Illawarra Hawks at the Taipans. Types. That's a hard types.
That is a very hard
Man,
types.
let's just quickly just appreciate just how bad the Hawks are.
Let's appreciate how overhyped LaMelo Ball is.
Yeah, I don't want to go in too hard on him, but he's only young. But RJ Hampton looks way better, like just way more accomplished.
Much better defender, man. Like the NBA is not looking at how many dimes you can if you can't defend the pick and roll or defend on ball. Like it's just teams don't want to just have scoring options anymore. You need to defend somewhat. The James Harden of the world, like Houston, bad.
We've got Adelaide 36ers in Melbourne against United.
I'm gonna go to 36ers. They look good.
36ers.
Yeah, I'm going a weird bunch here.
I'll go 36 as well. I think double game week for Melbourne coming off this big win. The win sucked out, and they're quite a professional team. Their team's actually not... I'm still not high on Trimble and Long, but their team's not the worst team.
No,
to be
no.
honest. I like McCarron. I'm not a huge fan of him, like playing against him and him being on a rival team, but I think he's like an important player for there, and he's been playing really well the last few weeks. And then the final game, Wildcats in Sydney against the Kings. We go on double Kings. Ooh, hesitation.
No, I'm gonna go Kings on this one. Kings. I don't think the Wildcats are as consistent as they were last year, so definitely Kings. I think the Kings will pull it together. Will Weaver will have his magic. I just think on the road, shortish turnaround for Bullets Friday night, big ask. That's all.
And that ends the tipping comp. Of course, those guys watching, if you are in the comp, make sure you get your tips in as quick as you can, because this is a short game week starting Thursday. Short turnaround, Monday to Thursday for the Breakers, Melbourne. Ooh, did I go Melbourne in that game? I can't even remember. No, I went Breakers because of the short turnaround. All right, well, I think we'll kind of wrap that up. A bit of a death stretch coming the next couple of weeks for the Kings. Hopefully this is a bounce-back game coming up against the Bullets in Brisbane. Are we going to do anything for that, maybe, Friday night?
Not sure.
Maybe we'll just sit at home by ourselves and watch it.
Indeed.
All right, take it easy, everyone. We'll see you guys next time on the King's Dime.
Peace out.
Peace.